Hi, hello, and if you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you've been here before, welcome back. Now, if you've watched any of my previous videos, you know that I spent 4 days moving the boat from its original marina down to the Croperdy Marina on the Oxford Canal. That was 4 very stressful days getting the boat down here. I had very limited time to do that. So if you've not watched those videos, go back and have a look at them. Now, at the marina, I've got 4 things I want to achieve over these couple of days. First is I need to move all my stuff onto the boat. This morning started with a game of what I call car Tetris. Took me back to my student days where I loaded everything into the car. All my bedding, crockery, everything. In fact, in this car here, it is absolutely rammed with stuff. So I need to get that on the boat. The second thing I need to do is find places for all of it and work out where I'm going to keep it. The third thing I need to do today is actually work out how the boat works, because although I spent 4 days on it coming down from the other marina, I didn't spend much time inside. I just really don't know how the inside of the boat works, so I need to work that out. And the last thing I need to do is give the outside of the boat a good clean and also check it for damage. If you've watched any of my earlier videos, you know that I had a couple of sort of rams into hedgerows and also one really nasty collision with a bridge. So if you've not watched that, go back and have a look. And I think I did significant damage to the Cratch cover in the collision with the bridge, so I need to look at that. Didn't crack the glass, didn't do anything obvious, but I've got a feeling there's something not right. The Cratch cover doesn't seem to be sitting right. However, the first thing I need to do is go and register this. This is a meter maid, and this meter maid goes between my boat and the Shoreline electricity supply and records how much electricity I use. So that's my first task, get this registered. Anyway, welcome along. Let's see how the weekend goes. First stuff coming on board. Time to get the next load. Well, that's the car unloaded. It only took 3 trips, which kind of surprised me because it took me forever to cram everything in the car this morning. It was a real game of Tetris, just getting it all in there, all that stuff that I wanted to bring with me today. So it's now all on board the boat, and the next task is to find places to put it and unpack it all. It's funny, the boat feels quite dead when the engine's not running and the windows are not open. So the first thing I need to do is get everything that I've just brought on board packed away, and then let's get some heat into the place because it's quite chilly in here. I need to work out how to connect the landline, and I need to work out how the central heating systems work. Hopefully this will all fit together and give me the power that I need for the fridge and other items on board. So it's taken me some time to find the connection point. I was looking for one up in the bow, but nothing up there. I finally found it behind this door, which when it's open like this, conveniently covers it, which explains why I didn't see it when I was cruising, because the door was open like this. Well, I finally got the cable untangled and laid out. My guess is that it hasn't been used for some time because it was covered in dust and also very, very coiled up. Looked like an old telephone cord. Okay, that's it plugged in at that end. I just need to lay it along the top of the boat now and connect it with the meter maid to the point at the bow. Okay, so that's all connected up there. So hopefully I should now have electricity on board. Let's go and find out. I am a bit concerned about my very sort of telephone-esque cable going down the boat, but I can't seem to straighten it. It's particularly bad down this end. No other boat looks like this in the marina. Quite odd, but I think it's been coiled for too long and it's going to take a while for those coils to settle out. I've looked at the cable and I can't see any obvious breaks or cracks or problems with it, so hopefully it'll be okay. Well, at the moment nothing is working. I guess it's got something to do with this control panel here. I've looked at the handbook and it wasn't very forthcoming. It just said plug it in and turn the switch. So I guess this is the switch. So let's see what happens. That's the shoreline position. And nothing has happened. Nothing has come on. I was expecting that light there to light up. Now that's a little bit odd. I don't think any of the switches are tripped. I'll have to have a look at this a bit more closely. Interesting, I've just noticed that these two lights are actually flickering, saying correct polarity and power available. They're very, very faint, but nothing's coming on with this shoreline here. If I turn this off, these two stop flickering. So I don't know what's going on there. A little bit odd. I will continue to investigate. It turns out the lights on this control panel are incredibly dim. I've had to shut the side hatch so I can see that there is in fact a shoreline light on. And then if I turn this, you can just see these two coming on down here, saying that things are working. And I've plugged something in up in the kitchen and that is working. So hopefully I have 240 volts. Now all I need to do is work out how I balance this with the sort of general electricity on board. So I'm going to turn on the leisure batteries and see what happens. Okay, I turned on the leisure batteries and I can now see the light a bit better here, and this panel over here lit up as well. So making progress with getting power. Seems to be telling me I'm getting some solar in, but very, very small amounts. And I will just have to work out what all of this actually means. Quite challenging. Quick look around the boat. Stern is filthy. I've just had a look at the fuel and I'm surprised at how little I've used in the 4 days coming over here. Now I've got this other fuel point here which I think is for the webasto heating, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I've checked that and there is fuel in there at the bottom, so I'll have to think a little bit more about that and see if there's anything in the notes. I haven't seen anything yet. But anyway, looking around the boat, generally it's muddy, it's dirty, it needs a good clean. I've already got the broom out. Coming down, I can't see a lot on this side. There's a couple of scratches that I don't think were there previously, so not too bad. A couple of scrapes down there, it looks like. Major scrape just in here. I think that's mainly mud. I'll know when I wash it off. I'll give it a wash later. Very muddy up at the bow end, and this is the biggest problem I've found so far. I did significant damage to the Cratch cover just there where I hit the bridge, and also here. As I suspected, I did significant damage to the Cratch and the Cratch cover. You can't quite see it, but it's just off square along here, and also that front panel where the headlight is here has moved back slightly. It's dropped back an inch or so. It appears there's a slight crack at the top of it as well. The big giveaway is the fact that the Cratch cover is now sagging, so I need to have a look at that and work out what's going on and try and understand the damage that I did. So next task, get all the dead leaves off the boat and give it a bit of a wash. Well, I'm slowly getting things up and working. I've got the gas stove to work, which, while you may not think it's a big deal, for me it is. First of all, I couldn't get it working at all because the isolation valves were off and some valve at the front was not correctly set. I've worked out the different settings and I now have a way to cook my dinner this evening, which is very exciting indeed. I've also made some progress with heating, which is also good news. And speaking of water, and this may all seem trivial to you seasoned narrowboaters out here, I've actually managed to get my water system to work. I have cold water and the pump kicks in, which is what should happen. So that's great. It's got cold water. Not sure yet if I've got any hot from the Webasto heater, but we will see. So slowly getting the narrowboat up and running, which is great. Now my next task is to get the diesel stove working, because the Webasto heater is only heating the radiator in the bedroom area and I need some heating up this end of the boat. It's actually getting quite chilly in here now. So let's see if I can get this to work. I've never used a diesel stove before and I've got no idea how these things work or what's even in them. I mean, what's in here? Well, you can't see. So looking inside the stove, this all looks a little bit sort of sooty and there's some sort of caging down the bottom. I'm not entirely sure what's going on here. Might be time to go and have a look at some YouTube videos. I've got some instructions here, but they're not very clear to me. Something about a pin, rotating it or something. Anyway, let's see if I can get this working. Right, according to the instructions, I've got to make sure that the diesel isolator valve is on. There's something about a pin. There's something over here. I don't know what that is down there. Ooh, this is all a bit of a mystery. Okay, having watched a couple of videos on the internet, I think I've worked out what's going on. I need to turn on that valve at the back there. I'm never sure if that's on or off, but let's try it there. I guess that would be on. And this is the pin thing. I need to give a wiggle to dislodge any carbon. Then I need to push it in. And then I need to pull it out. Not all the way. Cool, it suddenly gives. Wiggle it out until about 40 to 50 millimeters are pulled out like that. So according to the instructions, make sure burner pot is empty by lifting lid and looking down inside stove with aid of torch before remove any excess diesel. I have had a look down inside and I can't see any excess diesel in there. Looking down inside, I can't see any excess diesel in there, so okay, good. Right, on to the next part of the instructions. Now in this mysterious box here I have some tongs and some fire lighters and a doorbry for lighting said fire lighters. According to my instructions, what I have to do is light half a fire lighter, holding it with the tongs, and when well lit, place at the centre of the burning pot down the middle of the cage. Here we are back at the stove. Take that off. Take half a fire. I've got half a fire lighter here. I've got half a fire lighter here which seems to be quite resistant to burning. Odd, I don't think that's a fire lighter. Okay, so in this box next to the stove here, I've got the gear that I need. I've got my tongs, I've got a lighter, and I've got some fire lighters. Okay, so I need to take the top off the stove, which I've done. Just place it down there for the time being. And I need to get one of these fire lighters. So there are my fire lighters. And according to the instructions, I take half of one of those, they look like they're in halves to me, and place it in the stove once it's lit. So here's the stove, here's my tongs, and I light the fire lighter. When it gets going, I just drop it down there, and whoa, that burns out some smoke. Replace that lid. Whew. Deary me, does that throw out some smoke? Right. There's a little spy hole in the top here, which I think is where I'm supposed to be looking down to see what's going on. So allow the fire lighter to burn out completely. This preheats the burning pot. Turn the heater control knob anti-clockwise about 15 to 20% of revolutions. With the aid of a torch, watch until the diesel seeps across the burning pot until it reaches the centre, then turn off. Okay, I'm still waiting for the fire lighter to burn out. I can look down the little spy hole at the top and still see light down there, so I'm waiting for that to stop. Okay, that fire light is still going. Okay, I can still see fire lighter burning away down there. getting a bit faint now, and oh no, it's flared up again. Does seem rather difficult to light this stove. That firelight is still going. I'm beginning to suspect that wasn't half a firelighter, you know. For the next step, I will break one in two and try that. No, it's still going. I think that's been going now for a good 3 to 4 minutes. Ah, finally, after about 5 minutes, the firelighter has gone out. I now need to remove that lid again. And then apparently turn a knob down here about 3/4 of a turn until we start to get... No, nothing's happening. I can just see diesel seeping in. It's not exactly speedy. Okay, so the instructions say turn the heating control on at about 15-20% of revolution. With the aid of torch, watch until diesel seeps across the burning pot until it reaches the centre, then turn off clockwise. Light another firelighter and drop in. Okay, oh, it's beginning to produce quite a bit of smoke in there now. So another firelighter. Drop in. Let's get this lid. On. Whew. That does now produce some smoke. Okay, so according to the instructions, allow firelighter to burn for 3 to 4 minutes. It will then ignite the diesel in the pot. Through the spy hole in the heater lid, you should be able to see a blue flame of burning diesel and a red glow of the burner cage. If so, turn the heater control knob to 15 to 20% of a revolution. So we've got to give this 3 to 4 minutes. I can see some red down there, which is good. What I'm waiting for now is a blue flame to appear. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was stunningly blue. Occasional hints of blue. It's now been going for about 2 minutes. I can definitely see bits of red cage down there. It's been going for 3 minutes. I wouldn't really say that's blue down there. It's more yellow than... Oh, a bit of blue. Yeah, a bit of blue. Very orange cage. That's now been run for 4 minutes. So now, according to this, I can turn this knob again. Actually, I need to pull it up to turn it. So let's turn it to there. Hopefully that is running. Now the next thing I need to do is leave it for 5 to 10 minutes. The pipe leading from the top of the stove should be hot. When it's hot to the touch, turn the circulation pump off, whose switch is on the end of the galley cupboard near the towel rail. Well, it's not. I think it's down here now on the floor, but never mind. Okay, I think I've managed to light the diesel stove. I now need to give it about 5 minutes to get going, and then I can turn on the pump and see if I can actually get the radiators warm. Well, it's been about 5 or 10 minutes now, and looking down the spy hole I can clearly see a blue flame. The pipe at the back is hot, and so according to my instructions I can turn on the pump, which is located down here. Interesting, I've just heard a pump start up somewhere, so hopefully the radiator down there is going to get warm soon. We'll see how it goes. In other exciting news, I have hot water thanks to the Webastos heating system, which is great news. Okay, it's time to see what damage I've done to the Cratch cover. I've already had a quick look and there's damage to the actual cover itself, but also the frame. As I thought yesterday, the frame is no longer true. I've had a quick look inside the well deck and one of the screws is loose there, so I need to explore that and work out what damage I've done there. Anyway, let's crack on. The first thing I'm going to have to do is take off the Cratch cover so I can actually see what I've done to it. Taking off the Cratch cover was surprisingly easy. As I took it off, I had a quick look at it to see if I damaged or ripped it anywhere, and it seemed to be okay apart from those two sort of scuffs on the top right as you're currently looking at it. Okay, so that's the Cratch cover off, and I now can see the damage I've done. As you can see, I've completely knocked that out there. Those two screws are exposed, and so the plank is not in the right position, so I need to investigate that and see if I can fix it. Okay, I appear to have completely destroyed the wood here, so I'm going to have to find some way of plugging that. The wood's intact, it's just been sort of damaged. I may not get a good screw fix on it. Let's see what I can do. Okay, so this is the other point I've damaged. Yep, that screw is completely loose. It's doing absolutely nothing. And in fact, I've sheared it off. That screw is completely broken. That's a bit of a difficult one. Not entirely sure what I can do about that. Yes, that's a toughie. May have to have a think about that one and come back to it later. Actually, success. I thought the screws were stripped, but they're not. They just needed tightening. There we go. Perfect. Just need to sort out the other side now because that one's also loose. That's what made me think the screws have been stripped. So this is the other one. And of course that one's now not tightening. Let's try the trick I tried with the other one. If I take the screw out, take an Allen key in here, and line up the hole, I may have better success. Yes, there we go, perfect. Problem solved. Don't need new screws, that's not damaged. I just need to fix the wooden bit at the top now. So this is the problem place, this is where it's got to go. There's two screws. Let's take those out of the way. And there was also two screws into the top which I didn't spot. Let's have a look at that a bit more closely. So don't lose those. Oh yes, there's two in the top, didn't spot those. That's not good. Should have looked for those, but anyway, let's continue. I need to take those top two screws out. And then what I need to do is fit this in. And yeah, that comes over there. And that goes like that. Pinch that wire. Actually, that wire. Yep, that's right, that's fine. Now what I need to do is screw everything in place. Which could be easier said than done. Actually, that went in easier than I was expecting. I didn't need the drill. Yep. I think I do a bit of a botch job, but it's got the job done. All I need to do now is put the Cratch cover back on. That's it, looks a bit better. It's now raised back up. This is tightened in. The base is square, which is good. Just need to get the crutch on. Voila, no more sagging crutch cover. Fantastic. Toggle off there. Brilliant. Pleased with that, that's good. Well, I was going to record this closing part of the video from the back of the grey wagtail, but the weather's taken a turn for the worse. It's cold and grey and miserable out there, so I thought I'd come inside and enjoy the warmth from my wonderful diesel stove. Well, that was a couple of successful days. I registered the meter maid and successfully hooked up the Shoreline, although I am worried about the sort of cable-like sort of telephone coiling of my hookup line. The dim lights on the control panel did cause some confusion, but I managed to get that sorted out. I got my stuff on board and put it away. I now appreciate why so many narrowboat sales videos go on about storage space. I inspected the boat for damage and was pleasantly surprised. It wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. Yes, there were some new scrapes and a big muddy streak that had me worried. And yes, I had significantly damaged the Cratch cover, but I fixed it. All in all, things were not too bad. Inside the boat, I got the electrics working, I got the gas working, I got the water working, and these may all seem like minor things to seasoned narrowboaters, but to me, they're big wins. I have creature comforts. I can make a cup of tea, which is fantastic. And after some struggling, I managed to get the webasto working. Well, that was easy. It was just 2 switches I had to turn on. But more importantly, I got the diesel stove, which is just over there, working. So I was warm and cozy on my first night on board. Well, that's it for this video. There is a QR code on the screen now. That is a link through to the newsletter about the grey wagtail. And if you've enjoyed this video and haven't so far done so, please subscribe and give it a big thumbs up. In the next video, I will go to get some fuel. Now, what could possibly go wrong with that? Until next time, bye for now, and thanks for watching.